What's good, Wizards fans? It's your host, the real Ed Oliver, my guy, Brandon Scott. The Wizards have 4 dubs in a row. We're going to talk about it. Let's get to it.
You are Locked On Wizards, your daily Washington Wizards podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to the Locked On Wizards podcast, and thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. We are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Today's episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. So the Wizards defeat the Memphis Grizzlies tonight. There was no Ja Morant tonight or no Desmond Bane. But the Wizards definitely took advantage of the opportunity and came away with their 4th win in a row. They improved to 8-6, and they now are the 5th seed in the Eastern Conference. I know it's very early, but Brandon, what was your major takeaways from the game? Also, they improved to 4-1 without Bradley Beal in the lineup. What are your thoughts when Jordan Goodwin, his performance tonight, and Denny Avdia as well? And how do you see Jordan Goodwin fitting in when Bradley Beal comes back to the lineup?
Good question. Real good question. Overall, this team, since Bradley Beal's been out, has been a lot more fluid on an offensive end. I mean, the ball movement has been a lot better. Looking into tonight, you mentioned Jordan Goodwin, 10 points, 8 rebounds, 4 assists. He has been showing out every game since Brad went down. He has been that spark plug in his lineup. So, going forward, when Brad comes back Wednesday, that's a good question. Where does he fit? I'd imagine that, Corey Kispert would be pushed out of the starting lineup and go to the bench. So, I mean, your bench unit could look like Rui. That's good, man. I would presume. I don't know, man. That's I think that's why Wes and Tommy make that money, man. Because that's tough. Because if you look at the bench, where do you put them? You don't want to take Rui. Barton has been lighting up. Kispert will go into the bench. Gaff. So maybe they roll back to a 10-man rotation. But that's a good question. But overall, another good team win. The Grizzlies were without Ja Morant and Desmond Bane, Jalen Jackson, but you got to take advantage of that. A win's a win. I'm like, hey, I'll take it. Like you said, Koo struggled tonight, 9 points, but he did contribute 11 rebounds. KP showed out again, 23 points, 6 rebounds. He shows how he is an all-star talent. He's played at the all-star level this season, in my opinion. And I think if he continues this course, management has to look at a long-term solution as far as keeping KP in DC because, without the injuries, he is an all-star talent. So overall, this team with Jordan Goodwin and, let's get back to Denny. I ain't talking about Denny. No. Man, Denny showed out tonight.
Yeah. I was going to say, the Denny fans, they would not let you off the hook for that.
I know, right? I mean, look, he was attacking the basket. He showed confidence with the shot. The defensive prowess is there. Man, Denny, he showed up. I'm not even mad. I mean, Denny really, he was the second best player tonight. He really showed out tonight. And he shows where, could this be his ceiling? Yeah, he played at a high level. His energy. It's just, I think with Denny, like we talk about KP as far as injuries, with Denny, it's confidence. When he's confident, he can be a really, really good player in this league. So, tonight, definitely KP and Denny showed out, and Jordan Goodwin, as usual, was a spark plug off the bench.
Definitely, yeah. As far as Jordan Goodwin, you just got to play him. I mean, he's probably our best. When DeLon Wright is out, he's our best defensive point guard, really our best defensive guard. Denny's our best wing defender. And then, Porzingis has really become our best defense. It's really, I thought it was going to be Gafford, but now Kristaps, the way he's blocking shots and defending the rim, he's really starting to become a defensive anchor, man. But, yeah, I mean, Jordan, you just got to play him. I mean, he's taking charges. The block on I can't remember who he blocked towards the end, but he made a beautiful pass up to Will Barton. We're going to talk about that later on the show. But Jordan, he just makes game-winning plays, even just taking charges, drawing offensive fouls. He's just a spark plug, man. He brings energy. And he's just been a steal. He's been a hidden gem, the diamond in the rough that the Wizards are looking for. And you just got to play that guy. Even when Bradley Beal comes back at DeLon Wright, you got to find minutes for Jordan Goodwin. Not only that, he's knocking down threes too. The 3 threes he hit in that quarter last night in the win, and then also tonight he had a step back 3 in the corner. He had a 3 again. He's just shooting the ball well. He's rebounding the ball well. I want to say he had 8 assists tonight. Just looking at the numbers, But he's just what the doctor ordered for this team. I mean, especially with DeLon Wright being out. So you got to find minutes for him. Will Barton, he's just been a little shaky. He's just been some of his decision-making here and there and just dribbling the ball too much, and the shot selection has been questionable. But it just comes with a guy who's really aggressive and just, he takes a lot of heat check shots. He's gonna make some tough shots. He's gonna miss some tough shots. But yeah, you just got Jordan Goodwin. He deserves at least 25 minutes a night, 10 points, 8 boards, 4 assists. It was a +3. He had 8 boards 4 assists, and 10 points. And he was chirping with Ja Morant. You text me during the game. He's rent free in Ja Morant's head. And this guy Jordan Goodwin, man, he really has been a steal for the Washington Wizards. But Denny, I got to give him his props too, man. I'm upset that he missed the 2 free throws to get his career high. He ended up with 21 points, 5 assists. Also, he had 2 boards as well, was a +4, and was good on the defensive side of the ball. He was knocking down the 3 ball, was 4 for 7 from the 3-point line. And he had a couple and ones. He had an alley-oop dunk in the beginning of the game. He was finishing around the rim, finishing at the rim, finishing through contact. He did airball 1 3, still was a little up and down, but he kept his head up the whole time. And like you said, confidence was the key for Denny, man. This was his best all-around game for him. So I'm excited for him. He's improving. All the young guys are improving. Kispert's improving as well. So they don't win this game without Denny. He played 34 minutes tonight too. So he had a heck of a game tonight.
Yeah, you're starting to see these young guys really, play to their potential. Kispert has been shooting the ball good. He's been slashing to the rim good. I like what I see from him. Tonight, 3 points. Shot 1 for 7 from the field and 1 for 2 from 3-point line. So, he struggled, but I guess we'll give him a gimme game because he's been playing well. So, the rest of the team really came up and really picked up the slack. I mean, like you said, Jordan Goodwin, he's, we said this about Anthony Gill. These guys who they contribute in ways that you can't put into a statistical category. You know what I'm saying? It's just that effort. You just can't say enough about his effort. I mean, he defensively, he's just in your face, man. He's just crazy on the defensive end. Getting back to Denny, man, I'm proud of Denny. I mean, this was a good showing. This was a much needed showing from Denny. His shot is more confidence. It's just, if he can find that confidence consistently, man, he can be a dangerous player in this league. I like what I saw. Gafford, I'm going to talk about Gafford a little bit. 5 points, 5 rebounds, free throws. He's got to get better. He's got to get better on free throws. He shot 3 from 7. Overall, the team struggled. I believe they shot 11 from 21, 52% at the free throw line. They got to get better. That's 10 points. That's a 20-point blowout of the Grizzlies. You know what I mean? You got to, going into crunch time, going to playoff time, free throws are important. Playoffs ain't no joke. You could be 1 to 2, 3, 4, free throws away from a win or a loss. So they do have to show up that point. One more thing they need to show up is transition defense. There were times where they struggled. I think there was, I'm trying to think the quarter. I believe it was the 3rd or the 4th quarter where it was a fast break and you had all 5 Grizzlies down the floor and you had maybe 2 Wizards down there. And there was no, nobody was really trying to get back. That was a blown call. That was a blown, coverage in their point. But overall, I'm nitpicking because, it was a good team win. I'm very impressed with this team overall.
100%. Yeah, definitely want to get some more takeaways from the game. Of course, the free throw line, they have to improve that. Like you said, transition defense. Just taking some shots early in the shot clock led, or some of their shots getting blocked or bad shot selection led to Dylan Brooks getting some threes in transition, or number 46, I think his name was Kusmis or something like that for the Grizzlies, or Conchar. Conchar got a couple looks in transition. Same thing with Jake LaRavia and David Roddy. They took advantage of the Wizards taking bad shots and they capitalized on that. But I want to talk more about Porzingis, man. He's really just been an all-star as well. But before we do get to that, this episode is brought to you by LinkedIn. These days, every new potential hire can feel like a high-stakes wager for your small business. You want to be 100% certain that you have access to the best qualified candidates available. That's why you have to check out LinkedIn Jobs. LinkedIn Jobs helps find the right people for your team faster and for free. This is how it works. You add your job and the purple hashtag hiring frame to your LinkedIn profile to spread the word that you're hiring. When I was looking for a job, I use LinkedIn all the time. It's super easy. You got one-click apply. You just type in whatever job you're looking for in the search bar, and it's super, super easy. So I can imagine it's super easy for managers looking to hire people as well. So you use simple tools like screening questions Make it easy to focus on candidates with just the right skills and experience so you can quickly prioritize who you like to interview and hire. It's why small businesses rate LinkedIn Jobs #1 in delivering quality hires versus leading competitors. LinkedIn Jobs helps you find the qualified candidates you want to talk to faster. Post your job for free at linkedin.com/lockedonnba. That's linkedin.com/lockedonnba to post your job for free. Terms and conditions apply. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen today. For your second listen today, check out Locked On Sports Today. From the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports, go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get podcasts. But overall tonight, it definitely was a struggle in the first half. I think it was in the 50s, or the first quarter ended 19-21. The Wizards did a solid job defensively. I mean, this is just the formula without Brad, and I hope they can continue to do this. Just playing stout defensively, defending the three-point line. They've done such a better job defending the three-point line. They held the Grizzlies to 32% from the three-point line. They only let the Grizzlies shoot 10 free throws. So that's a huge improvement because a lot of teams were getting to the free throw line a lot. I know John Morant wasn't there. I know he usually gets to the line a lot. But they held the Grizzlies also to 39% from the field as well, which is huge. It's just huge for them defensively. So when Bradley Beal does come back, I just want to see them keep the ball moving, the extra pass. There are beautiful plays where they made extra passes to Denny, or Denny made the extra pass to Will Barton, or they made the extra pass to Porzingis, pick and roll, pick and pops to Porzingis. Porzingis had a beautiful three at the end of the half, buzzer beater, a couple step backs against Steven Adams. I mean, Porzingis has just been a mismatch. He seriously has been an all-star. And I know we give Tommy Shepard a tough time, but for him to pull off that trade, to give up Dinwiddie and Bertans for Porzingis, that's just a heck of a steal. And Porzingis, he seriously is playing at an all-star level. So I got to commend the Wizards for playing tough defensively, and they shot really well from the three-point line. 19 threes tonight. They've been awful from the three, except for this 4-game win streak. And I want to see that continue when Bradley Beal comes back too. Can he get into the flow of the offense? Can he move the ball as well? Which I think he can. It's not really a question, but I know he definitely could come in and move the ball. And the offense didn't run through Kuz tonight because Kuz just had an off night. Maybe he's still struggling from the flu. But other guys have stepped up. Denny's had a big game. Rui didn't have a great game tonight, but he stepped up in the past games of the 4-game winning streak. So right now it's just really been team basketball. Everybody eats type basketball. And I really want to see that continue when Bradley Beal comes back.
Yeah. I agree. But I think there are questions.
Mm-hmm.
There are a couple of questions that come to mind for me is, like we said, where does Bradley Beal fit in when he comes back? This team is a lot more efficient, a lot more fluid on offense. So where does he come? Where's his place? And I said it earlier. I think that he should go back to being that scorer, not trying to be. He doesn't have to be the guy. Go back to being a pure scorer. I think that's the best fit for him. But it's going to be shaky because with DeLon coming back, with Taj coming back, we're starting to get into a situation like we did last season where we had a lot of guys fighting for minutes. So this is where Wes and Tommy come in. They have to find out who are those keys guys going forward and who may be available. Unfortunately, the further we get into the season is deadline time. So, that's going to be a problem. For right now, it's not a problem. Depth is an asset right now. Depth really showed up. When people are having bad games, people are stepping up, and depth right now is an asset. So, and another thing I'm going to look at. Well, I want to agree real quick. Tommy has done well trade wise. Mm-hmm. I'm a big fan of this KP trade. That's a big trade. Of course. I mean, I don't know how we got Dallas to take Dallas Bertans.
And we got a second round pick too.
I know. I mean, I don't know if he sent him a crate of wine or what, man. But I mean, I don't know. But I mean, that was a skillful trade.
We sent him some cryptocurrency too,
right? I mean, because you look at it, Dallas Bertans, that's a hard contract to move.
It is.
Spencer Dinwiddie. I guess from an opposing GM standpoint, you can see positives with his game. A lot of people throw around the locker room issues, but it varies from player to player. Sometimes so sometimes you are willing to take a risk. And from Dallas's standpoint, he's playing well. But that trade was a big win for us. Kristaps Porzingis is an all-star in this league. When he's healthy, he is an all-star in this league. And so it looks good going forward. I mean, looking at this team going forward, I mean, Monte Morris, we got to give him big ups tonight. He is driving the lane. He is driving the lane. He is pushing the pace. He's looking better. He really is. I mean, I don't know if he's hearing the whispers, I don't know if he hears Jordan Goodwin breathing behind him, man, but he's responded. So no, I totally agree, man. This team looked good. 4 wins in a row. I mean, I know they're without Ja, but with this effort, we're a good team going forward. If we can maintain this ball movement, this team basketball, and then Bradley Beal can come, kind of slide back in and kind of adopt this team, ball mentality, they're good going forward, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm. Oh, 110%. I mean, 5 guys in double figures. Just got to get in where you fit in. And Corey Kispert, he's starting to find his shot 2 for 2 from the 3-point line. Got to give him his props as well. 12 points, plus 13, plus minus box, 5 for 8 from the field. He can really finish around the rim as well. 2 boards, 2 steals. I mean, other than the only negatives, like I said, and Gaff had 2 blocks tonight. I thought he had some key plays, 5 points, 5 boards. Just has to make it free throws, like you said. I guess the only thing I want to see them work on, of course, is just some of the early shots they take in the shot clock, some turnovers and transition defense. But they look good, and I think they have something to build on. So I know you want to do your play of the game, not just the player of the game. And we're going to talk about the defense of the belt. But what was your play of the game?
Before we get into play of the game, tonight's episode is brought to you by BetOnline. BetOnline.net is the #1 source for sports betting info, stats, news, and analysis. Get the latest odds and trends for every professional and amateur league out there. From football to basketball to soccer to esports, we got it all on BetOnline.net. And if you love sports podcasts, you can find those on BetOnline as well. We're always the fastest and easiest way to get your betting fix. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to learn more. BetOnline, where the game starts. Thank you for making Locked On Wizards your first listen. For your next listen, check out the Locked On Sports Today podcast. The biggest stories of the day, plus instant reactions, big game recaps, and a take of the day. Available on Aussie app, YouTube, or wherever you get podcasts. So, man, that is a hard one. I was thinking about that. Player of the game. I'm going to roll with Denny. Denny, he responded. He showed out tonight. This is what we want to see from him. His potential is vast. He shows up like this. He can be a force in this league, and his defense is already elite. So I'm definitely rolling with Denny tonight. Who do we go with defensive player of the game? I'm gonna roll with my boy Jordan Goodwin. That key block, and that's gonna go right into my play of the game. Mm-hmm. So that key block, there was a block, and let me see what quarter it was, but he had that block from behind that led to that dunk from Will to Thrill, and so. For that reason, he's defensive player of the game, and that is the play of the game for me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think he should have won the defensive. Monte Morris got it tonight. If you guys didn't know, or if you guys care at all, Monte Morris got the defensive belt tonight. Kristaps Porzingis gave it to him. That's how it works. The person who wins the belt, they're the one who chooses the player who got it or who gets it. But yeah, I'm with you with Jordan Goodwin too, man. Not only that, just him taking some charges or just running through screens, being physical, getting through screens. Steven Adams is a big guy. He's strong as I don't know what. He was pushing Porzingis around a little bit tonight too. He got a couple offensive rebounds. And Jordan Goodwin got a couple forced some offensive screens, fouls, or illegal screens on Steven Adams. Also, he boxed out Steven Adams, and Steven Adams just toppled over him, and he got a foul right there. So Jordan Goodwin, he was just a pest. He's an emotional leader. He wears his emotions on his sleeve as well. He's yelling. He's turned up out there. He's the perfect player that the Wizards needed. So he's my defensive player of the game tonight too. I'm gonna go with Denny too, man. It could be Kristaps because he dominates. He's just a mismatch. Nobody can really guard him out there right now, and he's some big threes and got to the basket as well. But yeah, I'm gonna say Denny, man. He picked it up tonight. He set the tone, man, hitting those threes. Knocking out some shots, and his defensive effort as well, being a two-way player. And I agree with you too, about the play of the game. So, but all right, we're going to get to some comments here. And then Brandon, if you see anything that stands out to you, you definitely can comment. Pull it up as well and show it on the screen. Pink Difference says KP and Denny really works well together. Yeah, they do, man. They have a nice two-man game. They have a nice screen and roll game, pick and pop game. Porzingis got a steal one time, and he did a Euro step. That's my play of the game. Just seeing a 7'3" guy do a Euro step. That's just stuff that's why he's in the corner. He just does stuff that you're not supposed to do. A 7'3" guy he humanly should not be possible to do. There is Victor Wembanyama, who is I'm probably butchering his last name. He's what 7'5" or something like that.
Yeah,
and I know he can do a Euro stuff too. So, but yeah, actually, I'm changing my play to the game to that Porzingis play.
Oh, you can't change it. Come on. But now I'm with you. That was a good play. I mean, he's nimble on his feet for that guy, a guy that size, man. He can move. He's got a lot of athleticism, man. So I'm with you.
Yeah, he said Kuz looks a little tired. I'll comment real quick on that. Yeah, I mean, he had a silly behind the back pass, and then he threw the ball to Denny on a fast break a little too fast. He threw it a little too late. So he had a couple blunders tonight, but man, he's still on that flu game. I feel like I still feel like I personally don't know. I'm just projecting, but he may be feeling some symptoms from the non-COVID illness that he had.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's still dealing with the bug because he didn't see the energy tonight. He seemed down to 6, so I think he gets a pass tonight. Let's see, Shug BZ1. Pack your bags, Bill. Your spot is for sale. I mean, I know that it's kind of a bipartisan issue right now. You got a lot of people for Bill, a lot of people against Bill. I'll say this. I'm going to go ahead and just bury it right now. I think Bill. I'm a big fan of Bill as a player. I think. I like to see him on the team, but again, here's the thing. When you make a super max contract, that opens you up for criticism that you would not get normally. Super max says that you're that guy. And so then, like I said, that opens you up to a lot of criticism that he normally would not have gotten, playing second fiddle to John Wall or Russell Westbrook. Because if you look at it, John Wall years and even to a smaller degree, Russ Westbrook, they got a lot of criticism. Why? Because they were that guy. A lot of people were in John Wall for years, man. Coming in out of shape. There's a lot of questions. People stayed on Wall. The club in the DC, stuff like that. So, I get pro Bill because he is a good talent. I love his game. Is he taking some of a dip because of his age? Yeah, but in the same token, you make that big bucks, man. It's like certain positions. Look, President of the United States, man, gets that because he's the president. If you're in that position, man, you're gonna get that criticism. And I'm just gonna roll there.
No, I mean, you're right. He has a target on his back, or he said it himself. Everything runs through him. He said that on media day, or I'm paraphrasing what he said, but yeah, everything goes. It kind of lives and dies by him. I mean, when you get paid that 35% of the salary cap and $250 million, that's just how it is. You are a 3-time All-Star, an All-NBA player. You just got to be a leader. You have to be the deciding factor of whether the team wins or not. And there's some games where he just hasn't been. And they're 4-1 without him. So the numbers are showing something. So I do think that he can definitely come in and fit in and make this team better. I think they definitely need him in the long run. And it just shows that other guys have been able to step up with him not being there. Denny's more aggressive. Rui's more aggressive. Jordan Goodwin has been very aggressive. Porzingis, Kuz has been more aggressive because he's getting the ball in his hands more. So, and it's on West too. I think West has done a great job coaching these guys up while Bill has been out. I guess it's just made the rotations easier for West too, while some guys have been out too, because there's less guys to choose from. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say pack your bags, Bill. I think that's a little outlandish to say right now. I would not go as far and say that. But I do want to see how Bill gels with how the team is playing. Can he keep that up? I know he hasn't been shooting the three ball well, but can he shoot the 3 ball better now because the ball is moving? They're not relying on him to be point Bill. We don't want him doing that. So I really don't want to see him coming in and doing that. I think Wes shouldn't have that happen either. And when we get in clutch situations, I want to see how that goes too. I haven't seen this team really get in a tight. All of our wins have been, we beat the Hornets. We handled them. We beat the Mavs by at least 10 points. I want to see how we perform in a clutch too, because the biggest gripe I have with Brad is the clutch. And I do want to see how this team does well in the last 2 minutes again. Because even last year when Kuz was the guy, when Brad was out, it was just, look around and let Kuz and see what Kuz is going to do. So I want to see who steps up now since other guys are getting more confident, when Bradley comes back in the clutch. Porzingis can definitely take the second shot too. So I'm intrigued to see that too, because I don't want to see Brad bring the ball up and turn the ball over. But yeah, I wouldn't say pack your bags right now. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a little, too. I know I've been famous for saying, looking at trade ideals, and that's always an option. because it's the salary. I mean, the salary, man. I mean, the salary opens you up for that, man. I mean, it's just what it is. Normally would I have said that? Nah, because I love seeing him grow in DC. He's a completely different player than when he came out of the University of Florida. So it's been cool watching him grow into the type of all NBA player that he's been, but like I said, that contract that opens you up for a lot of things. So, him coming back, where does he fit in? And, does he kind of change his game a little bit to kind of fit where they're at now? That's the question. Does he kind of step back and be that scorer and kind of, because he's going to, if they're going to run the offense to Kuz or KP, then he's going to have to play second fiddle. Is he willing to do that? A lot of people can't do that, man. A lot of people making that money, they're not willing to, what was it? Carmelo, when he was on KC, he refused to go to the bench, and then he found out that was the best way for his career, for longevity. So, if you look at Portland and his time with the Lakers, so, it all depends. And isn't it, I'm comparing him, Carmelo to Bill, but, I think Bill, he'll be all right. He's going to step back in. And I think this first game back, I think OKC, he's going to show out. I'm actually predicting 25 points.
Okay. That's definitely doable
right now.
Now, it is disappointing seeing that the Supermax guy would be your number 2 option, even though that's what's best for the team. But yeah, it's about, he said he wants to win championships, so he just needs to come in and fit in where he can and get in where you fit in on the way this team is playing now. Now, if we see the next 5 games and the 3-point percentage dips and they go 1-4, something like that, knock on wood, then maybe we will revisit what Suge's BZ1's comment. So we'll see. Perfect Finance says Denny ! 10 times. He played his butt off. I'm upset about the 2 free throws at the end. That he really could have got his career high, but yeah, he's blossoming as a player. He was confident from start to finish, knocking down threes, getting to the basket, had a dunk. I've been begging him for him to dunk, and he dunked, had an alley-oop dunk. I have nothing really negative to say. He airballed a 3. And that's really it. I mean, I thought he had his best game so far, maybe his best game as a professional player from start to finish on the offensive side of the ball.
Absolutely. Then he was rocking tonight. It's good to see. It's real good to see. Let's see. I got it. There you go.
Yeah, shout out to my guys, the OGs of the DMV. That was a good gameplay. They didn't make us endure a collapse at the end. Right.
No,
yeah.
Hey, he brings up a good point. And I saw a lot of people commenting about that. They got to stop playing down. Sometimes they're guilty for playing down to their opponents. Tonight, 10, I'll take it, but I think they should have blew them out of the water tonight. That first half is a little closer than it should have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the free throws. If they just made, what were they, 10 for 21 from the free throw line, if they just made even 80% of their free throws, they were 11 for 21. So let's say they even make 18 out of 21, then they should have put the game away a little while ago. So they definitely need to practice on free throws in practice for sure. Omer Azalea, he said some more. He says get rid of Bill, find a way. Let's see here. OGs of DMV again. Make sure you guys subscribe to them. They have a Wizards channel as well. They say Goodwin won himself a contract, I believe.
Absolutely.
Yep. Yes, sir. Nazar Amari says, I have no idea how they should handle the Goodwin situation when DeLon comes back. Yeah, we'll definitely talk about that. We're going to do a mailbag questions mailbag episode tomorrow. But yeah, they should both play. All of them should play. I mean, it's a problem. It's going to be tough to figure out minutes for him, but Goodwin needs to play for sure.
Yeah, you got to find ways to keep him on the court. He's just his electricity is just it's pushing his team right now. Do they win these 4 games without him? That's a good question. His energy combined with Kuz's leadership has been big, and KP. So absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Nazar Amari says, so far this season, Bill has been pretty efficient. Other than his contract, I don't understand the hate, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, he's had a solid year so far. I mean, he hasn't lived up to, what we've seen from him in the All-Star season. He hasn't shot that well. 21.6 points per game, but we're not looking for him to put up 30 points a game. That's just not. That's just not how we win a lot of games with him putting up 30. We want to see more balanced basketball. So, but he's had some good games. The Bulls game, he had played really well. He had a clutch basket. The Pistons game, he played well. He got hurt, came back in the game and played well. So, yeah, he's had some good games. He has contributed to wins this year. He has.
Yeah, I agree. But again, with that money comes responsibility and criticism. I get that. How some people kind of think that we're hard on Bill, but when you make that amount of money and you take up that amount of the cap space, there's just certain expectations that come out of that. So and plus, I'm gonna add, there's only so many players in this league that have a no trade clause.
Right.
Yeah.
No, 100% no trade clause. He gets to pick where he wants to go, basically, and a 15% trade kicker when you do trade him as well. So people got to keep that in mind for sure. Perfect Findings talks about Will Barton. He says Will Barton doesn't pass; he needs to go.
I mean, you could see him go. He's an aspiring contract, but nah, he's a high energy guy. He's a player that's known to create their own shot. Yeah, I mean, I'm willing to agree. You can say that about Rui to a certain degree. Rui, he tends to be a black hole with the ball, especially when he gets it in the post. If Rui gets the ball, most of the time he's going to shoot it. So I agree. When they kind of run away from team basketball, they get in trouble. So I agree.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Will Barton, yes, I already said this earlier. He makes questionable decisions. He does dribble the ball too much, a lot of isolation ball from him, but that's just his game. He is a microwave scorer, kind of like a playground street ball kind of feel to it. Skip to my Lou, if you will, kind of like Jamal Crawford, that kind of style where he's just, J.R. Smith a little bit, just not as athletic as J.R. Smith. And like some of the tough shots you need that he made a tough move on Jake LaRavia where he swept through and did a pump fake and LaRavia went for it and he knocked down a three. So sometimes you just need a guy to be uber aggressive like that. Sometimes, yes, it can get us into trouble with some bad decision making and turnovers. But sometimes you do need a guy who's going to take some tough shots. And some of his shots are like, no, yeah. And then he makes it, you're like, good shot. So it's kind of those shots that he takes that can be frustrating. But yeah, they do need Will Barton. I think he's good off the bench for the Washington Wizards. So we'll wrap it up here. I guess we'll read one more comment. This is from someone in Israel. Shout out to him. He says, you guys do a great job to give us this after the game. In Israel now, it's 4 a.m. in the middle of the night. Thank you, man, for staying up and,
absolutely.
And watching. Yes, it means a lot to us for sure. So, but is there any other comment you want to read, Brandon, before we wrap up?
I got one more. It's going to make you laugh. Suge BZ said, play the game. Bill's sitting on the bench. Come on, bro. I mean, like I said, there's pro and con for Bill. So, but I think everybody can agree that everybody's looking forward to him coming back. I think he's a better asset with the team. So,
Yeah, and there's more contract talk. We'll probably talk about this tomorrow too. Jermaine Reese says it's going to be real interesting what the Wizards do with Kuz's contract because he's going to get paid the way he's playing. And then also somebody in MC, we'll talk about this tomorrow. He says, are you worried that Rui is only playing this well because he's playing for a contract? Excuse me. Do you think this will carry over after? So those are questions that we're going to talk about tomorrow. So make sure you guys check us out tomorrow. Also, thank you guys for making Locked On Wizards your first listen every day. Once again, we are free and available wherever you get podcasts. Now, for your second listen today, check out Locked On Sports Today, from the games that matter the most to the biggest stories in sports. Go beyond the scoreboard and behind the scenes with local experts and insights on only Locked On can provide. Locked On Sports Today, available on this app, YouTube, and wherever you get your podcast. Also, make sure you guys subscribe on YouTube and leave a 5-star review whenever you can on Apple Podcasts, wherever you get the podcast. Another dub, 4 wins in a row. Let's keep this up. Hail to the Wizards. Peace.